acts. Well, we know a musician who is already doing more than his share. As Sylvia Chase reports, he spent much of his life hustling drugs, but today uses some of those same skills to hustle for a program that helps fellow musicians get off drugs.
Being a junkie is not a very exciting or wonderful existence. It's like a torturous existence. It's the dumbest existence, really. Dumb is better. Torture has a certain drama to it.
At the age of 70, Buddy Arnold has only a few mementos of his 31 years as a junkie. There's the snapshot from San Quentin, where he wrote this song. There was the 12-page rap sheet of drug arrests. And there is this photo of Buddy Arnold. By age 54, a broken-down addict whose 25-year musical career with big bands like Tommy Dorsey and Stan Kenton had long since ended.
I feel very bad about the fact that what I had, I threw away. When I was a kid, I practiced 8 hours a day. And when I was 30 years old, I wasn't practicing anymore. I was figuring out new ways to go score. So I miss most of all what I lost in this life is the music.
Drugs took his music away.
You're making the commitment, and we'll take care of the rest.
But today, 15 years clean and sober,
Don't go away.
Buddy Arnold's mission is to take drugs away from music.
I'm sorry it took this long. I've had a lot of emergencies out here.
He's created a coast-to-coast,
Heroin?
top-to-bottom sobriety network
How long?
just for
Let me
musicians.
see. Well, what do you play, Steve? Hold one sec. MAP, this is Buddy.
MAP
No,
means
no.
Musicians Assistance Program, offering support from the moment a musician decides to clean up, right through treatment, and even into aftercare.
Well, I can probably get you in tomorrow. Just take care of yourself between now and then. Don't get busted and don't overdose.
Buddy is driven by ghosts, the icons of the 20th century, all those brilliant musicians. Blazing talents who used heroin or booze or pills as fuel until they flamed out.
What else should I be?
Buddy had hoped he might save this one, Kurt Cobain.
I liked him. He was warm. He was gentle, and obviously talented, even though I couldn't hardly relate to his music.
It was Buddy Arnold who arranged Cobain's all-too-brief stay at a Los Angeles rehab. But after only a couple of days, Cobain slipped out a window. 1 week later, his body was found next to a suicide note.
I mean, what is it about being a musician? Is it that you're a loner, that you're a perfectionist, that you're spoiled?
Possibly spoiled. A loner, yes. Most musicians are a perfect setup for drug abuse because you got the intensity, the energy that you give out during the show, and then the show is over and there's that letdown. And sometimes there's depression. And then you're alone in this hotel room, wherever it may be. And what do? It's really a setup to use.
I think it just goes with the territory.
Bonnie Raitt, a MAP supporter, is a recovering alcoholic who knows the territory well.
I mean, rock and roll is an extended adolescence thing to do. You're rebelling, you're getting allowed to stay up as late as you want, turn up your amp as loud as possible, and be a bad girl for as long as you want and get paid for it.
Raitt shares her loyalty to MAP with other big-name stars in recovery,
Unforgettable.
like Natalie Cole.
Years ago, I wouldn't hire anybody that didn't get high. I mean, it was like a prerequisite.
Cole recorded her biggest hit after battling back from the depths of cocaine addiction.
There is a kind of personality that is attracted to the extreme. And a lot of those people are out on the road. A lot of those people are artists.
Put on my hoochie coochie red dress, go out and dance all night, and maybe then.
Now, cleaned-up artists like Cole fundraise for MAP. Because while she could afford the best drug treatment money could buy, she knows most musicians can't. They are sidemen, freelancers with no health plan.
I can make a dress out of a feed bag. And I
Musicians are usually over-medicated and underinsured. There never was a 401k plan for junkie jazz musicians. Map, this is Buddy.
That's where MAP steps in,
Yeah, maybe I can help you.
with negotiated rates at the poshest of rehabs. And Buddy knows how to hustle his musicians to the head of the waiting list.
We should be able to get you in probably quicker than you want to go.
MAP boasts a 2/3 success rate, considerably higher than national figures.
If we put you in a treatment program, I'll then go through our files or just through my memory banks and pick out someone whom I believe you will like, bond with, who's from the same area of music as you are.
What this is a mentor program where you have drummers and musicians reaching out, people that are lucky enough to make it through. Come on, we'll help you up here. We know what it's like to be at a gig and have to stay sober when everyone around you is offering you a drink. Whenever I get a phone call from Buddy, or if we know that somebody's just recently sober, I'll pick up the phone and call.
Buddy asked Bonnie to call Dave Woodfred, who had played with Raid and a host of other big-name bands in the 80s, before cocaine consumed him.
The people that made the difference were the people from MAP. They saw me collapsing over the years.
Today, Woody is one of the people from MAP. Once a week, they get together to jam. And once a week, they get together for group therapy. On this day, some of them met to talk to Primetime.
I just was probably getting ready to die.
Woody's pals telephoned him in 1993 and found him incoherent.
As the story goes, Marty called Buddy and said, "What should I do?" And Buddy said, "Do you know how to dial 911?
At the hospital, doctors patched Woody back together, but it was up to Buddy and MAP to save his life. They were waiting for him as he walked out of his hospital room to perform what is called an intervention.
And each one of those guys told me that I needed help, that they would take care of any problems that I could think of. You need your bills paid. We'll make sure that stuff is taken care of while you're in rehabilitation, but you need to go from here to there.
Woody went straight from the hospital into rehab.
I, in turn, was able to partake in Tim's intervention.
Really? Now, how did that work?
They called a band meeting, and just to make sure I'd show up, they said they had checks for everybody.
You were there at this intervention?
No, I missed that one. But he intervened on me.
Oh,
Yeah.
you had intervened on him.
Shortly thereafter.
Oh, thank God it's behind me.
Today, composer and actor Paul Williams is a drug counselor who leads MAP's weekly therapy group. But not too long ago, he was hooked on coke and booze.
I became a chronic and habitual liar. You know, you would look me right in the eyes and say, "I know you're high. You know, and we'd like to help you if you'll just admit it." And I'd say, "What kind of a sick person are you that you would think I'm using drugs?"
I got caught up in this myth. Coke and heroin and booze, that was the cool thing to do. That was the only way to be a man, to be a musician, to be a true performer. If you could get bagged and play, you were there.
It's inconceivable to me that you could perform and be drugged or boozed up.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, it's the perfect business for an alcoholic. Because they encourage you to drink. It's okay to drink. And then they brought drugs into the scene, and that was okay too.
That's right.
Well, it was very common at recording sessions to see a sack of cocaine sitting on the control on the board.
It was written up as catering.
Yeah.
Has it been hard to convince the leadership of the music industry that they, who benefit from these people who are addicted, have to pay?
It's just good business, I would think, for a record company to take care of its artists. But they don't care. They always figure, he dies, he dies. There's another one.
Buddy's changing that, too.
Now we got to get the word out.
This former jailbird junkie has won over some of the biggest powers in the music industry, like John Branca, rock and roll attorney to the stars, Mick, and Michael and Elton.
It's easier to talk about the people he does not represent. There's about 2 of them.
Branca even opens his Beverly Hills mansion to MAP for charity events and interviews.
This was received as fundraiser income.
And the MAP Board of Directors looks more and more like a who's who of the record industry.
Hey, somebody raise a hand. This is going to be insane.
They hold their weekly meetings at the exclusive Beverly Hills Tennis Club.
What Buddy does is knocked on all the doors of the major record companies and said, you know what, psst, time to wake up, time to take care of your own, you know. These people have given you their lives. Help them to stay alive and continue to contribute. And the companies have responded. They look at this face, they go, what are you going to do, you know? Of course, they say yes.
It's hard to say no to a man with such a good idea.
It's up to us through this program to start a new tradition that you don't have to be high to perform.
I thought that I needed to get high to be creative. It never dawned on me that it was actually blocking my creativity.
My music, my playing, has never been as fine, and I've never enjoyed playing more.
And it's coming out a whole lot better than it ever did when I was stumbling around with drugs and alcohol.
And it's very soul satisfying, at least to me. I, Buddy Arnold, has finally made a difference in somebody else's life. There's maybe a good musician today and a happy family because of the little work we did. No one ever said I was wonderful, I was a great junkie. I really made a difference. There are very few events in my life of which I'm proud. You know? And I'm proud of the Musician's Assistance Program. I feel proud of Buddy Arnold.
For its part, the music industry is trying to set up a support system that could include financial assistance for drug treatment, follow-up visits by drug counselors, and a directory of rehab centers